Going live. Got it. It says we're streaming live.
Hello, happy Magic Monday.
Happy Magic Monday.
12/12/2020. Hello, happy Magic Monday.
Happy
Happy Magic Monday.
It does that every time.
I feel like you do it.
I don't do it.
You're like, oh, it does that.
Right. But it does. It says we're going live and then it picks up. What'd you do? Are you doing it too?
Yes. Okay.
Technology is kicking our butts today.
No kidding. Technology said magic. Okay. I want to be able to see like any comments that come through and that sort of thing. So good morning.
I'm working on it. Let me see if I can see it.
Oh, I can now.
Oh, you can? Okay. Cool. Me too. Huh?
We did it.
Yay, good morning. Today is a very special day.
It is such a special day. You may have seen in here that we have launched our latest production called Awakening, Sacred Sacraments and Expanded States of Consciousness as a Path to Enlightenment and Unity. I've said it so many times now in all of those interviews, I didn't even have to read it.
I did. I still have to read it. And I was going to say it without reading it. But you did.
Oh, yeah. I did. And it launches today where we speak to over 30 different people, both experts and just, your regular people around sacred sacraments and expanded states of consciousness per the title. And it's friggin' fascinating. Probably of all of the productions that we've done, which has been combined over 12, this is by far the hardest hitting, the deepest, the most profound. I would say it's really for those who have already been on a spiritual path for a long, long time and have experienced expanded states of consciousness, but maybe are kind of like at this plateau, like, what else is there? I feel like I've done it all. I've done this, I've done that. And this brings a whole new piece of the puzzle of how we create unity as a world, how we self-actualize, how we become enlightened, how we claim that version that is already us as the enlightened being, and how to do it. So yeah, it's out there. It's awesome.
It is so good. And just before coming on here, I actually just completed one of the interviews that will be going live tomorrow. And I have another interview. So even as we're launching, we're still talking to some incredible people who, have just been so gracious with their time and their wisdom. And also so much gratitude for being part of this production because it's big. It's big.
It's really big. We have over 2,000 people that are saying yes to this in particular. It was presented to hundreds of thousands of people. It is way, way cool. I want to talk about just like some of our highlight moments. So that you guys can kind of watch out for those. All of them are spectacular, or we wouldn't have them on, right? If there is something that was like, yeah, that doesn't really align, well, then it doesn't, and we don't push that out. So every person that is on here offers something unique and beyond what we have talked about before. We've really gotten clear about who it is that we're here to serve. And it's absolutely those people who are ready for their next level, that want the edge, that are not looking for comfort, that are really looking for soul expansion, bliss, euphoria, shadow, self-actualization. So some of my favorites, our coffee chat, we start the whole production with our coffee chat, which is always fun. It's always so fun, but gives you an in-depth look of why the heck we're talking about sacred sacraments now, which by the way is plant medicine. Why we're talking about it now, why it's so important, So that was definitely one of my favorite. Another one of my favorite, I might be a little biased here, but really I'm bringing in some others. Scott, my husband, who journeyed with ayahuasca, who healed his melanoma cancer, and how he now supports other people in doing that. That was a super fun one. I'm going to name all mine and then we'll give it to you.
Oh, okay. I'm going to get a turn. Thanks.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess.
I want to say hello to Jamie. I want to say hello to some of the people tuning in. Welcome, welcome. So glad to see you here.
Oh, apparently I'm not seeing those. I'm not seeing those. And so we did it in this way of bringing in experts who actually facilitate plant medicine journeys, as well as other people who facilitate expanded states of consciousness. So we have someone, Leland, who healed himself. Oh, I know. You talk. You tell about Leland.
That's so funny. I got to interview Leland, and he's an expert in breathing, and he actually healed himself. He was a paraplegic, and he healed himself with breath work, and he takes us through a breathing process, which was bam. Megan and I and my mom have been using that interview to follow his breathing process since I've interviewed him, and you'll see on the interview, and he actually comes out today. His work is profound, his story is profound. And if you're not using breath work in your daily or at least weekly consciousness expansion, I highly recommend you do.
Yeah. That's definitely one of the highlights. I loved Elizabeth
Woods.
Is Elizabeth?
Is it Elizabeth Wood?
I think it's Elizabeth Wood. Elizabeth Moss is like an actress or something. Elizabeth Wood, profound. She is a seer of multidimensionality. Hers was extraordinary, talking about paradox in the shadow.
Oh.
Yeah, another favorite one, Rainier Wild. He's one of our own mentors, and how to fully self-actualize, which is really next level. If you've been on a spiritual journey and you have been leaning all the way into only love and light, we've missed a little something. So yeah, we're leaning in all of it. We're bringing in all of it. Right. Let's see, Marcy, who has trained us in how to facilitate through medicine journees. She is on, she's one of the first people that we have on because she is such a master. And when I say master, I mean truly, she's a master. She lives it. She can go, her most recent thing, she went into the dark for 5 days and fasted for 8 days. I mean, what is she, Jesus?
Right. Yeah, definitely. We've brought in high level individuals. It's super important for Megan and I because we've had the opportunity to work with several coaches and several mentors. And it's super important to us that we bring forward the people that are walking their talk, that are living what they profess. And because we aspire to do that, that is our greatest thing, constant expansion, expanding ourselves so we can lead people further and further and further into enlightenment and self-actualization. So in our interviews, that's what we have brought forward as well.
Yeah. And I really love how we brought in the experts, right? These experts that have been supporting individuals on this journey for some people, decades and decades. But we also have a bonus day. We have a bonus day in which we've brought in individuals that we have journeyed with, that we have been at retreats with, and they share their personal journeying experiences. And I think that this one is really cool because while it's awesome that we have the experts on there, it's that knowledge is so important when we talk about integration and full expansion. But sometimes we just want to hear, like, what's it feel like?
Yeah.
What did you see? What did you experience? And so we have a bonus day in which we brought on dear friends and those that we have met along the way to share their journeying experiences.
Yeah, super, super profound. It's just been amazing. And you want to listen every day. We have two women who live in Damanhur, Italy, which is the oldest visionary community in Italy, in the world. They're going on 3 generations now. And I interviewed Esperide today. She'll be going live tomorrow. She's one of my favorites, talking about the concept of time and our lives. You know, what's the word I'm trying to think of? I just got off with her, but that all of our lives, there's no past or future lives, they're all now, and how to tap into those lives, as well as learning more about Damanhur. She was another one of my favorites. We just had so many. So you definitely want to take in all the interviews. I mean, make a commitment. They're so good. And we kept them pretty concise. I know with Marcy Locke, our mentor, we went an hour because, I mean, there's just so much to learn about the power of the sacred sacraments, but definitely tune in for all of them.
Yeah, and every single expert gives a complimentary gift, and most of them had a nice, quick process or interactive training, which is something that has set us aside from many of these summits, is that we ask our experts to give a training, right? Like, what is something that you as the audience can practice right here, right now, and take into your life and start accessing those expanded states of consciousness. So every single one gives a complimentary gift. Every single one gives a complimentary training. Plus there is the interview. So it's super exciting. We're watching a lot of the interviews over again. Like, for example, Leland, right? Like, there's some that we just go back to and we go back to. So if you've already joined, put in the comments, joined, like, I'm in. If you haven't and you need the link, say, I need the link. But post in the comments, let us know if you're in or not.
Yeah, Tori will definitely give you the link so you can join. Jessica Jolie, thank you for being here. This is awesome. Thank you for doing this. Our pleasure. Jessica's in. Hutchison, Diesel, Angel. She's in. Hi, Amy. Yes. So much love for Marcy. Absolutely. Hi, Gloria.
Hello. John says, make sure to question yourself if this is right or not, because you can feel what's right and what's wrong. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is something that we really speak into, that we support those who have their internal compass turned on and they know how to make their own choices.
It's funny, we were just having that conversation this morning.
My invitation is that there is no right and wrong. There is what aligns with you and what doesn't align with you. And oftentimes what aligns for us doesn't align with everyone, but for some people it does. So if this aligns with you, so excited to have you there. And if it doesn't align with you, we're so excited to honor you in not joining as well.
Yeah.
Nicole, I'm not going to lie, I'm feeling massively overwhelmed with all of this. Been releasing a lot of crying today. My mind is racing. Wow, Nicole, thank you so much for sharing. So this is really interesting. And we, in this, in the production, we talk a lot about aspects of self dissolving. right? And we can call that our humanness, or sometimes our ego. And that kind of feels like a loss, right? Like, oh gosh, what I have always known is now there's more, or there's something different, or all of that, right? And so this is interesting because even this morning I was just up doing my very own hape ceremony in releasing what no longer serves me. And I was journaling, and actually what came through was like, wow, there is still this sadness of letting go of some of the identity of who I thought I was.
Yeah.
Right. So the sadness and the overwhelm gets to be celebrated. Oh, yeah, that matters. It matters that I feel this, right? And it's not to push it away. That's why I journaled. That's why I did a ceremony and really just held and loved myself in that moment, and also opened up, right? Like, what else is there for me? What else is there for me beyond the overwhelm and the sadness? Now, there's a lot of information in these 30 plus interviews. It's a whole lot, which is also why we give you the option to have lifetime access, right? Because it may be a lot to take in all of those interviews. It's definitely the biggest one that we've ever done, right? So there's a lot of interviews, and we do offer a lifetime access, and you can see that on the opt-in page if you so choose.
Yeah. Yeah. Great information. I love the piece with the overwhelm too. I like to speak into that because the emotion of overwhelm comes from the idea or belief that I'm not big enough for this. This is too much for me. This is too big for me. So allow yourself to acknowledge that that's what overwhelm is, right? It's too much. And then focus on the knowing, the wisdom of your soul that there's nothing that's too big for you. Right? That what you're experiencing, overwhelm and abundance, can be confused, right? What you're experiencing is an abundance of wisdom, an abundance, right? And even abundance can feel overwhelming. So reframing that is really important, that, oh, this is truly abundance, and I am open to receive all of this abundance.
Yeah, and that's part of self-actualization, that, oh, this part of me also belongs. This is not something to fix or rid of. And then mastery of, am I going to see all of this, one, as overwhelm or abundance, right? Right there, choosing an interpretation is mastery. It is mastery.
It is, absolutely, absolutely. I'm so excited about it.
Me too. Me too. I'm so excited. So we will put in the, I'm sure it's all over the Facebook, but we'll all over the Facebook.
All over the Facebook.
We're going to put it in the comments. The link, you can still join. It's just launching right here, right now, today. So if you haven't yet, join if you feel so called. And we can hardly wait to see what everyone has to say. We encourage you to come into the group and share what is landing for you, what is like a hell yes, what feels stretchy, right? Like what feels like, whoa, that was big. I know sometimes I come back after a soul expansion and go, never mind. And then I integrate it, right? I fully integrate it. And it's like, oh, wow, I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. So Nicole, that sort of, that ebb and flow is so perfect. So perfect.
It really is. It really is. So yeah.
Any
I
other?
don't know what to say with that.
I know, like, what else is there? We want you to be a part of this. And is there anything else, any questions or comments anyone has for the chat spot? I'm going to check real quick.
Okay, you check. So it is about perspective. And Megan and I were so inspired to do this because of our experience with expanded consciousness and understanding what is like truly having an experience with our higher self, with the wisdom, with the wisdom that is available to us, that we feel in our hearts. Grandma just joined. Hi, Mom. That this is truly the path to awakening, to heaven on earth, to ascension, that we have so many tools that are available to us for awakening and self-actualization.
Yeah, really embodying all of our divinity, all of it. So
Yeah. Okay. Nicole said, my husband has always been into the idea of ayahuasca, but I was always like, nope, because I heard you just throw up the whole time. Is that true? No, it's not true at all. There can be some purging, but I think out of 9 journeys that I've done, I've purged 3 times out of 9. And even your time on the medicine isn't all purging.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if your husband has been interested in it, I highly recommend that the two of you watch Scott's interview. I interview him, we're husband and wife. And he did a lot of deep dive studying for 6 years before he ever did his journey. And he just had, I think he only purged twice in the whole week that he was there. And so it may really land for your husband. I mean, Scott is definitely like a guy's guy who just retired from law enforcement and really has his own vibe and approach to all of this that I've noticed a lot of men really resonate with.
Yeah. Yeah.
I encourage the two of you to watch that together. And when we talk about Aya in our containers of preparation, journey, and integration, we really find this deep reverence for the purging aspect, that we are not just thrown up here, right? We are cleaning out our system, we're cleaning out the physical system, the emotional system, the soul, the multi-dimensional generational system. And so that small moment of purge is liberating. And so there's all these different ways to look at it. And before I ever journeyed, I remember going, no, I'm cautious, I don't like to throw up. And wow, there's so much more than just the purge. And yet just the purge is pretty much all you'd need, right? Like that's how it is.
Truly, truly. And it's so interesting because I remember having that fear myself, right? And it's so liberating to just allow your body to do what's necessary for you to be able to embody your next level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's part of that full self-actualization, like, oh, I am not just my body, right? Like my body can be having this experience of purge, and yet I'm having this full-blown like download and spiritual journey, right? It really shows how multidimensional we truly are and how the body plays a big role in that, and yet it's not the only aspect.
Yeah, yeah. And
do you see any other comments? Mine's not working now.
People saying I'm not too fond of throwing up. The purge can be really beautiful, a really beautiful release of energies that we have held on to for way too long. Get a good coach or a therapist to guide you through. Yeah, Katie, that's exactly what we do. Exactly what we do is walk you through that, how to work with the medicine, how to receive the medicine, how to purge if it's necessary, right? It's amazing how comfortable I am with purging now. How about you, right?
Super comfortable with it. Yeah. I'm definitely resistant to it at first though. Like Absolutely not. I've had this interesting lifelong relationship with nausea and throwing up. I had it when I was a little girl, just always nauseous, kind of like gut issues. And then when I was pregnant, I've been pregnant 3 times, and all 9 months I had terrible nausea. Up until giving birth, I was still throwing up multiple times a day. So when, I was like, absolutely not going to volunteer for that. And now all I can say is thank you. Yeah. So grateful for it.
I just want to make a point. I think we're about complete here. I want to make a point in looking at the bigger picture is that what ayahuasca and the medicines do for us, do for humanity, is to give you an expanded view of what we are, who we are, our place in the universe. And if a couple minutes of purging is the only thing that stands between what we know now and how we perceive ourselves and the divine truth of it, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so worth it. And for those who are, keep in mind that in this whole awakening production, about a third, maybe half of our experts and guests speak about sacred sacraments. The other half, or 2/3 possibly, are talking about other ways in which to tap into expanded consciousness without sacred sacraments, without plant medicine. There's lots of ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like those are the ways in which I do it every single day. Obviously, we don't do journeying. We don't partake in sacred sacraments every day. And yet we are always practicing tapping into that expanded consciousness, and now practicing with how long can I maintain it, right? Yeah. The goal is not to do a plant medicine journey or ceremony, reach that expandedness, that oneness, that unity, and then come back to life and go about your life the way that it always was. And now the only way in which you can reach that expanded state is through plant medicine. That's the importance of preparation and integration, is how do I bring this into my day-to-day life? And oftentimes, what Michelle and I are doing are other ways in which to tap into that expanded states of consciousness. And that's why we have a slew of experts on there that talk about all sorts of modalities to be firing that crown chakra wide open, right? So yeah, there's something for everyone.
Yeah, something for everyone. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, all of it is letting go of control. Katie said something about the fear of losing control during purging. And that's been a huge growth process for both Megan and I, right? Like it is an ego death to let go of control and follow the divine, our divine wisdom. That's where the discernment that was brought up earlier really comes from, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that fear of losing control, gosh, at first I thought it was only me that had that strong fear, but apparently lots of people have that. And there is euphoria in surrender, right? There is euphoria in this fucking belongs, and I will just let it go. Let me just fall to pieces and purge whatever is desiring to be released. How can I think that my humanness controlling all of this is somehow wiser than my highest self now combining with my human self, right? It's like, yeah, that there, for some, there is that struggle with control. And yet when there is the release of control in the surrender, it's a whole nother level. It's a whole nother level that I would say a lot of people may never experience, right? So there's lots of way to do it. I know breath work will take me there. I go, wait, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. And then I do. And it's like, there I am.
Yeah. Yeah, so amazing. And like you said, so many different aspects that we brought in to support you in expanding your consciousness, support you in enlightenment, right? Knowing yourself beyond the body, knowing yourself beyond the ego, and knowing one another beyond that as well. So bringing us to enlightenment and unity. So if you haven't joined yet, we invite you to do so.
Yeah. And we'll be back on Monday, but we may be popping in here over the week just to see how you're doing. And we encourage you to do so as well.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your feedback on this production. All right, everyone. Have an awesome Monday. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye for now.